Good evening. It is 5:32 p.m. on Wednesday, April 20th, 2022, and this regular meeting of the Sandpoint City Council is now called to order in council chambers at City Hall, 1123 West Lake Street, Sandpoint, Idaho. For the record, I am City Council President Kate McAllister presiding. Also present are Andy Grote, Jason Welker, and Justin Dick. Mayor Rongstead, Councilor Joel Aspiro, and Councilor Deb Rule are absent this evening. We will now stand to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any announcements from council?
None.
Nope.
Very good. Any announcements from staff?
Yes, Madam President, we will be issuing the special event permit. We have about 5 in process this week. One of which will be issued tomorrow is for Lost in the 50s. We will be also posting on our Facebook page and our website page tomorrow with the issuance of that permit. Contact information for any vendors who want to have spots downtown. The city has 8 spaces available on Main Street, which we have organized with the event organizer, Carolyn, and they're first come, first serve. We've done this for about the last 5 years. A few of those have power. I think about 4 of the 8 spots have power. So that will be first come, first serve, but otherwise in the downtown core, it's part of the issued permit and reserve space. So anyone who needs to be on private property, anyone on the public right of way needs to be approved specifically for these spots through the city or be a vendor associated with Carolyn, approved as an official vendor for Lost in the 50s. RV park reservations. We talked about this at the last council meeting, but again, a reminder for the public that the RV park down at City Beach is now the City Beach RV Park and is owned and operated by the city. We are taking reservations for the RV park as well, and links to that are also available on our website and will be up on our Facebook page this evening as well. And then wanted to just let council know that we will have an upcoming presentation at one of your May meetings with an update on the street improvement projects for this year. Transportation improvements been a conversation, and we have a lot of needs, and so we're finalizing the locations for that and the scope, and so there will be a public announcement update to the council on that at one of your meetings next month.
Right, thank you. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for tonight.
We will now proceed with the public forum portion of the meeting, which allows the public to address council regarding items listed on the consent calendar or on any topic not listed on the agenda. Those here in chambers who wish to speak will need to complete a sign-up form and hand it to the clerk. The forms are available on the table by the door. If you're on Zoom and wish to speak, please raise your hand. Comments shall not be personally derogatory, nor shall they be personally directed at any individual, organization, or business. Public comment opportunities during meetings are for comments only. Do not direct any questions to council or to staff, and do not approach the dais. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, is there anyone who would like to speak during public forum?
Yes, Madam President. Janine Shepherd.
Great.
Council members. Janine Shepherd, Bonner County. So National Day of Prayer is coming up on May 5th. I brought invites for you, so I'll give those to the clerk. Would love it if you guys would join us. It's just no political agenda, just come and pray in the park and join us in unity and praising our Lord. So if you would, I would love to pray with you, and if you would join me. Dear Lord, we invite you here tonight to do only what you can do. Cover this place with your presence and your spirit. Bring forth your love and your justice here tonight. Help us love others as you love us, mightily and without limits. Help people see you through the way we love them. Help us show the fruit of our lives of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control. 1 Corinthians 1:8 says, if I speak in the tongues of men or angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all the mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. We bring our lives and our city before you, Lord, and lay them as an offering at your feet. You have great plans for us, and we say yes in advance to what it is that you want to do. Bless us, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, is there anyone else?
No, Madam President.
And no one online?
No.
Okay, we will now proceed to the consent calendar. For the record, the total amount of bills is $1,014,666,019, reflecting $247,238.47 for regular payables and $767,421.72 for payroll. Are there any items council wishes to remove from the consent calendar?
None.
Okay, thank you. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This will be a roll call vote.
Counselor Dick,
Yes.
Counselor Grow,
Yes.
Counselor McAllister,
Yes,
Counselor Welker.
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you. First, under old business is a proposed resolution for amendments to the 2022 Festival at Sandpoint lease of War Memorial Field and portions of Lakeview Park. I will now yield the floor to City Administrator Jennifer Stapleton for an explanation and to answer any questions.
Thank you, Madam President. There's a festival had proposed a couple of changes to the lease that was approved by council at the last meeting. As I noted in the last meeting, they had added a concert date on the Wednesday of the second week. And the way that our lease has always read historically with the festival and in this most recent year, because we hadn't discussed a change to that in advance, was that a special concert could be approved on a Wednesday, the innate concert by the mayor for a special event. So typically in the past, that's been on a Wednesday, but it has been a local smaller event for a community fundraiser. So I did note that when the lease came to council for presentation, but with this amendment, we made the change because we had a second request come in from festival wanting to change their time on the weekend from a 2:30 start time for their afternoon events to a 1 p.m. And we weren't aware of that change in advance of this going to council. So since it's a substantive change from what went to council, we felt it needed to go back to council for approval so that the public is aware, because there are community impacts with the festival. And we do hear from the neighborhood about impacts with concerts, noise, the public coming in. So it is an additional concert. It is an earlier time, and we did not receive any input from the public since we posted our packet one way or another in favor of it or against, but did want to have that out there for public information and bring it back to council.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
what the reasoning was for moving the start time up on the weekends?
I think it's just how they have their events scheduled and the acts, the groups coming in and what worked for them for scheduling.
So are the concerts starting earlier in the day as well?
Mainly it's their afternoon event. I think it is on the second Sunday. They have more of a family event. First weekend, they have a family event. So it's really those two things, which are smaller, and they're geared towards children coming in for those events as well. But again, there's an impact to the neighborhood with that. So wanted to bring it back.
Yeah, that's the symphony event.
Is that the symphony event or the family
The
concert?
last, well, it's kind of the same, it's
The
still
same,
the symphony.
that's
yeah.
that day.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh, super excited for him. Wish him
Yeah.
all the best.
I don't
Yeah.
think they did the family concert last year, did they?
No.
So this will be a welcome return.
Right, exactly. Would anyone from the public care to comment on this matter?
No, Madam President.
Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution for amendments to the 2022 Festival at Sandpoint lease of War Memorial Field and portions of Lakeview Park.
So moved.
Second,
This will be a roll call vote?
Counselor McAllister,
Yes.
Counselor Grove,
Yes.
Counselor Welker,
yes.
Counselor Dick.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. The final item under old business is an update on the comprehensive plan. I will now yield the floor to City Planner Amy Tweeten.
Madam President and council members. Wanted to give you an update on the restart, long-awaited restart to the comprehensive plan process. This is a presentation I provided to the planning commission last night as well. As an overview, just talking about the plan process today, many of you have been involved previously. What was previously adopted and in progress inputs into the plan, the draft schedule moving forward, and an overview of plan vision themes that have been reviewed to date. So just an overview of what the comprehensive plan and why is it being updated. It is a policy document adopted to guide land use decisions over the next 20 years. It establishes a vision for future, along with goals, objectives, and strategies to move the community towards the vision established. There's also the legal basis for the zoning ordinance. Our current plan was adopted in 2009 and amended with the airport chapter in 2019. Ideally, the comprehensive plan should be reviewed regularly and updated periodically, no less than every 10 years, just to ensure that it is addressing changing community conditions.
Amy, I think it's important to note too, Fonda was here last night when Amy did the presentation for city council. And one of the questions that a planning and zoning commissioner had was whether interim updates like adding a chapter, if a chapter was edited one at a time, would that constitute an update to the comprehensive plan? And Fonda did indicate last night that yes, that does constitute a change to the comprehensive plan. And so in that update timeline, for example, what she specifically referenced with Planning and Zoning Commission was the airport chapter was added. So that would be a date the comprehensive plan was updated. So this is another update. There was, I think, some question related to the 10 years from and compliance related to the 2009 plan and where we are with timing. So just wanted to bring that to council's attention.
So this is a slide from Logan Simpson, who were the consultants on the plan. So this is where we were in the process, April, May of 2020, and essentially where we left off. So getting to that point had already a lot of community engagement. Many different ways of reaching out. There were community events, there were online questionnaires, there were steering committee and commission meeting, and then there were also stands at different community events. There was outreach in that way as well. And this is just from kind of the initial drafts. The consultants have tracked who has participated by the areas and then by age group. And the commission was asking about, so the 40 to 49 and the 60 to 69 seem to be the most engaged in the process. And moving forward, maybe that's something, maybe we'll try to do some additional youth engagement, just to make sure we get a broader participation. So out of the engagement and the existing conditions report, a draft vision was organized using the 5 pillars of the 2018 Council Strategic Plan. And the overarching statement of that is the city of Sandpoint is distinguished by its lakeside beauty, small town feel, and welcoming people. It is a charming and livable small town committed to having a responsible government, resilient economy, a sustainable environment, and vibrant culture. And the 5 pillars being the responsive goal that lays out the 5 pillars that moved forward into the visioning structure of the plan. So the plan process again was paused in the fall of 20 due to loss of staff and just an increased demand on staff time for development reviews. But there were other planning processes that were continuing, and those have been completed and will also be incorporated into the comprehensive plan. And those were the Parks and Recreation Master Plan that was adopted in 2020, the Multimodal Transportation Plan from 2021, and the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Master Plan also adopted in 2021. Those all, again, had engagement and have a lot of good material that can then feed into the comprehensive plan. And in addition, there are studies that were started, again, due to the accelerated development pressures we were seeing, to provide more data to inform the comprehensive plan, so that we weren't just asking people what we want, we had a good understanding of the economic conditions and population to feed into the plan. So the first one of those is the land use supply and demand study that the Leland Consulting Group is performing. The update to the strategic plan that council and staff are currently going through. The utility rate studies, information on that will very much inform the future of the community, particularly the area of city impact, and then also the urban forestry master plan. So this is our best case scenario timeline moving forward. Again, at the top, there are several processes that are currently occurring, and it is that first one, the housing growth and economic study. The data from that, we need to better inform some of the chapters of the comprehensive plan, particularly the housing and growth part of it. So those we're pushing out later in the calendar. But so we're now just trying to restart it. We've been in discussions with Logan Simpson, the consultant, to get us a revised proposal to get them back on board. So that and discussing the vision statements that were established to date in April and May, then working on integrating all of those master plan documents into chapters of the comprehensive plan will occur during the summer. June, hopefully we will have that data from the Leland plan, so that then that can get incorporated into the housing growth chapters of the plan. And throughout here is, we don't have it defined yet, but the additional community engagement will occur throughout this process. And then leading into the land use future land use map and the area of city impact, drafting of the document, and with hopeful adoption of the plan in February of 2023. So that is our anticipated timeline. Just a little more on the current area of city impact. This is a map that shows what our current ACI is. So as you can see, it's quite large. But the Idaho's Land Use Planning Act requires that we identify areas that we may wish to annex, and those are considered our area of city impact. So this is an area that the city's been in discussion with the county, or the county has asked the cities to really examine their ACIs and come up with some realistic expectations of that. Because our comprehensive plan is supposed to guide development in that area as well. And I may ask Jennifer to speak a little more to that because she's been in discussions with the council on kind of next steps to what we need to do to have a memorandum of understanding on discussing that change to the ACI.
So the area of the ACI, what it requires for us in order to designate an ACI is we have to enter into an agreement with the county about what the ACI is. So our plan in moving forward with discussions, and it's going to take some time with negotiations with the county, but we will be coming back to council at one of your meetings next month with a memorandum of understanding to enter into negotiations. So nothing is decided relative to the ACI, but that kind of kicks off the process for both parties to begin discussion. And as Amy showed on the timeline, we anticipate that this will occur over a number of months. As Amy's indicated as well, the Idaho Local Land Use Planning Act requires that ACI, what you're looking at with it is in an area a city may wish to grow into at some point in the future. And that's guided by a couple of different things, both where would we potentially want to grow, and then defining what would the potential land use be in that area with the land use map. So that will be occurring through comp plan and also informed with this study that we have underway looking at land use, population growth, and those things, but community discussion as well. But another driving factor in terms of what is an area of city impact and where a city can grow is really our utilities. So where could we reasonably serve? What the county has been asking the cities, it's been all 4 cities over the last about 18 months, was to enter into negotiations for the ACI, with the county having the goal to shrink the areas of the ACI. All of our cities have rather large areas of city impact. What I can tell you relative to our ACI, and we've been having a lot of internal discussions about utilities because we're getting ready to come back to you probably next meeting with a workshop on rate study. But we've been looking at what are capital projects, what can our utilities serve, what is our capacity. The area of city impact that we currently have, we in no way have the capacity in our utilities to serve that area, not in the next 20 years, not in the next 50 years. So in terms of shrinking that, as the county has requested, to something that our utilities could serve, it would look substantially smaller than what that is. And we are in the process of really kind of identifying what that would be on the utility side. So you will have those discussions going forward, but in addition to that, it's not just utilities. It's the, do we want to grow our boundaries? How far would we want to grow our boundaries? And then what type of land use we would want to see with that growth.
So that's very interesting. So you're articulating how there's complexities with the coordination with the other municipalities that we're surrounded by, as well as Bonner. So I'm curious if it's something that, well, in the rate studies will, I hope, the new information that's going to come to us will hopefully help me understand if we want to be better and not bigger, or if in fact bigger might be better. And those are the two spaces where my head is at, which it doesn't, I don't need to land one way or the other until we get those rate studies. And that should direct
Well,
us?
it'll be that and land use. So as
Okay.
we get our information back from Leland, that will also be coming back to council and a presentation to Planning and Zoning Commission on their study findings, which will inform the comp plan. That will tell us what the projections are really for population growth, the demographics of the population, with the growth that is projected, what type of land uses are needed, what we would want to consider perhaps in what locations. And what we likely might find that we do is when we get our definition from the utilities, even on what we could serve. So that becomes one piece of the puzzle. Then the other is, where would we potentially want to grow? If we do, we might find that through this process, what we're going to be doing is doing kind of a sub area plan too, for what that would look like. So
Can you define
might-
that, what sub area plan, what that,
Amy, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
sorry to play tennis.
So it would be more in-depth plan of the ACI area.
Okay,
As opposed to just being ACI potential future land use within that area, in other words.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would just be a little more.
Context areas overlaid onto the ACI,
Right.
yeah, which are more hypothetical context areas as opposed to actual context areas. Is that the idea? Since it's not actually able to be developed in, let's say, mixed use residential, imposing that context area on the ACI would be hypotheticals. If we were to annex this, it might be mixed use residential.
Well, yes
Correct.
and no. So when you see negotiations and the model that we have looked at, we have discussed with the county relative to the direction that we would recommend to council to go with the area city impact would be when that area is agreed upon, what would happen with the ACI that is different than what happens right now is when we see development currently in our ACI, the county notifies us of the development. We have the opportunity to comment on it. And that is pretty much all influence we really have. Under the proposed path forward, we would suggest to council would be in the ACI that we enter into an agreement with the county where within our area of city impact, the area is built in accordance with our building codes and standards, in accordance with our zoning, subject to our fees, our review, and the county has indicated that they are open to entering into such an agreement. And many of the other jurisdictions around the state have a similar agreement between the city and the county. So in the past, where really it's just our comment to the county, that's all the influence we have, the influence would be significantly different. What the county has indicated to us about that is in exchange for that, they want to see the area of city impact significantly decreased. The motivation for the county commissioners on the decrease of that area is they really want to drive that density within cities, within the area city impact to protect the more rural areas. So in that sense, it seems that we have alignment in terms of philosophies in that regard. So it would be very different than what we're currently doing.
Absolutely.
let's see, and so one more observation from the folks that are finding this region to move into and our community to reach into, the mountain and the lake, the natural beauty, the charm that we've all spoken about. That's wonderful. And we all love it. Many of those who have found this place and have moved up here have a higher expectation of service across board, whether it be internet, sewer, whatever that is. So, and that's the challenge that we're at. The rural setting of the county is amazing and beautiful, and there's many that want it to stay that way. Their expectation of service is self-sustaining on that end of it. Those who want to move into the city, some have come from cities, their level of expectation of those services are greater and potentially better. So it does become, this is where, again, I'll repeat, is it better or bigger? Like, what is it? I would like some clear direction on which we want to do, because I want to make sure that our city is achieving that level of expected service from our citizenry.
So
Yes.
Anyway, thank you.
I see this dialogue with the county as being a great opportunity to advance the interests of county residents, county commissioners, and the city. Obviously, there's been a lot of fear and anxiety in the county about sprawl. And on one hand, you could say, well, this is what we're worried about, sprawl. The city's growing in urban sprawl. But by shrinking the ACI and eliminating the opportunity for the sprawl into the really rural part of Bonner County, we could relieve some of the pressure on subdivision and the upzoning of rural areas, because there would be opportunity for more density really close to where the services are, and to where I think a lot of people, Andy, who move to Bonner County are moving here for, like you said, the mountains, the lake, the rural scenery, and they will live wherever they can find a place to live. And right now, there's no place to live in the cities because we aren't providing the housing that is in demand. So there's excessive pressure on the rural areas for subdivision and for cheap land, which only later comes with, $250,000 of infrastructure costs before you can even break ground on a house. So we're serving a lot of interest by starting this dialogue with the county. I think it's really important. So thank you for the update.
Back to you.
Okay, so again, some draft vision statements were brought forward to both the steering committee and just comments from the public. And I'm going to go through, and so from what was drafted, these comments were made. And then I'll go through the final, what I believe is the final. I'm going through different files, but I believe it's the final statements. But the original statements, some of the comments from the steering committee, they weren't sure that the comp plan vision statements should be the same as the strategic plan statements, that maybe they were too generic. They wanted to make sure that it supported industry, that an economic development that was compatible with our location and enhanced outdoors and recreation, trying to reconcile the conflicts between growth and natural area protection, connection to the outdoors and mountains being integral and emphasized. And there was a comment they didn't believe that there was enough strong vision statements dealing with children's safety and bikes. And then just from the general public, again, it's preserving what's special about Sandpoint, protecting nature and the amenities, walkability and connectivity, diversity as a strength, and promoting the education and training, and just having sustainable growth. So with that, the final vision themes of the plan moved forward. So the first vision theme on responsive government. Government strives for effective citizen engagement, reliable infrastructure, efficient services, resource stewardship, and high citizen satisfaction. And the direction is form strong relationships within the community and with regional partners to facilitate a culture of open and effective communication, keep pace with growth, and ensure long-term sustainability of infrastructure and service investments. Ensure safety and health with the highest quality public safety and emergency services, increase efficiencies in city management and capital budget expenditures. Resilient economy. A diverse mix of businesses and nonprofit organizations benefit from the quality education, versatile workforce, fair taxes, sensible regulation, and reliable connections to the region and the world. Foster a dynamic and resilient year-round economy that provides high quality, high paying jobs and supports entrepreneurs and local businesses with a commitment to place. Reinforce workforce training and advanced educational opportunities to match residents with employer needs. Embrace innovation, technological advances, and robust internet to support the next generation of job industries, education, and workspace. Facilitate affordable, quality, and diverse housing options for Sandpoint's workforce across all income levels. Sustainable development. Development is planned on principles to assure good stewardship of resources and responsible outcomes relative to the built and natural environment. Protect Sandpoint's natural beauty, open space, and scenic views through thoughtful development patterns. Prioritize growth close to daily needs and existing services, and manage future city expansion to preserve natural features and ensure services are not overburdened. Promote a mix of land use and high-quality development that fosters accessible, enduring, and desirable neighborhoods. Balance recreational access to the surrounding lakes, forests, and other natural features with environmental protection and stewardship, and safeguard our clean water, air quality, dark skies, and sustainably manage our resources. Vibrant culture. The Sandpoint community is inspired to create, experience, and support our history, social events, lifelong learning, recreational pursuits, and art of all kinds. Aspire to be one of the nation's best small art towns by celebrating the creativity, innovation, and diversity of local arts, culture, and events. Honor the strong sense of pride in the city's history with robust standards for design, preservation, and development. Promote and enhance downtown and surrounding neighborhoods is the cornerstone of Sandpoint's historic charm and small town feel. Advocate for the health and wellness of all residents and the ability to pursue active and healthy lifestyles. Cherish our access to high quality and diverse parks, natural amenities, and outdoor recreation opportunities, and integrate an authentic spirit of inclusion and adaptability to accommodate needs of residents of all ages and abilities in community gathering spaces, events, and programming. Livable community. Development encourages connections among people through a diverse mix of housing, walkable, and bikeable neighborhoods that are safe and secure, ready access to recreational facilities and public spaces, and robust street and digital infrastructure. Proactively address the housing needs for Sandpoint's full-time residents and workforce. Design neighborhoods with a sense of community and identity, respecting the scale and character of established neighborhoods. Foster walkability and a comfortable, safe, and aesthetically engaging pedestrian experience for all ages. Enhance community connectivity, livability, and health, economic vitality, and access to commerce, services, and businesses through strategic mix of land use and multimodal transportation investments. Champion bikeability as a cornerstone to a healthy and equitable community as both a recreational pursuit and a viable means of transportation in all seasons. So those are the vision themes that will be moving forward in the plan. So that is overall the as far as we got so far. And again, we are waiting for a proposal from the consultant to really do kind of a jump start, just to let everybody know where we have been to date and just kind of bounce it back, make sure we're reflecting that we did hear it correctly, or if there's been changes, we need to address those as well. And then just plug along and try to get it done by February.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Amy,
for-
could you please back up to the timeline?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Is the plan to have our consultant facilitate the public workshops?
That is likely what one of their largest role is going to be, yes. And in here, it did come up at the commission last night, given the amount of development proposals coming through, we'll probably be doing special meetings of the commission as well.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
There is no new business this evening. Final item on the agenda is an executive session. I will entertain a motion to convene an executive session pursuant to Idaho Code Section 74-2061F or LF for the purpose of communicating with city legal counsel to discuss the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation or controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
This will be a roll call vote.
Counselor McAllister,
Yes.
Counselor Groot,
Yes.
Counselor Welker,
Yes.
Counselor Dick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you to the members of the public who attended this evening. Everyone not participating in the executive session will now need to exit the room, and the Zoom meeting will also end now. Good night, everyone, and thank you for your time. And go